So the next we have Mahmoud MVP, and he's one of our inspiration for the D6 communities around Microsoft in the Middle East. And he inspires us every day to do these community events. And he himself does many events. You might have seen him. And he also was speaker in global events. And we have one big event which is coming on Experts Live. He will give you more details, which is on November. And today is going to talk about architecting intelligent AI applications on Azure, a guide for professional developers. The stage is all yours.
Thank you, man. Thank you, guys. Yeah, sorry for joining late. I'll just get my presentation ready. Just give me a second. I have to join you, or what should be the plan? Great. Yeah, it's presenting. It's presenting? Great. Yeah, sure. Yes. And clicker would work, or that's fine. Yeah, this is the one, but it's not.
There's, I think you need to insert yes.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, morning, guys. So already our colleague already highlighted everything about me, but I'll just recap it quick. So my name is Mahmoud Atallah. I'm a Microsoft MVP. I've been working in the journey of Microsoft for almost 15 years now. When it comes to the community, I built the community back days in Qatar. So I've been in Qatar for 8 years. All over Qatar, most of my customers were like my community members as well. And here in Dubai, we are running lots of community. So we are part of Azure Middle East, which is Ahmed is running, Global AI Abu Dhabi, which is I'm running, Global AI Dubai, which is Microsoft themselves are running, and also Dynamics 365, which is Vikas running as well. So we do have lots of community happening. I would be happy to see you every time that we are interacting. That's first of all. And I see most of the faces also have been recognizing them through the different events that we run across the year. When it comes to the Expert Life, as my colleague highlighted, I do have a big event that will be happening in November 11. Most of the team also are a key speaker. So Samir is key speaker, Vigesh is key speaker. Ahmed is my team member organizing. Ahmed as well is an attendees. He's also part of the organizing team. So we have Sulava is sponsoring us. So we do have here most of the team members knowing me and knowing the event itself. I'll be sharing the details later on. Feel free to explore it. I'm happy to get you in as well. If you need any discount, if you need any support, I'm happy to support you with this. Let's focus on today. So when it comes to Azure workload, people are directly considering the AI. Okay, I'll consume the AI services to do X, Y, Z. But once you start consuming the services, there is lots of consideration not being taken at the beginning. Security is a key aspect. Compliance is another aspect, which is those are the ones that we're gonna explore today. But before I deep dive into the technology part, just raise your hand. Who's here from the development background? Great. Other side, who's here from the system management and system administrations? Great. Others are business users or Dynamics, Biz Apps. Just raise your hand, Ujnaya. Biz Apps, right? I see. Yeah. Why I'm asking? Because what I'll be presenting right now, it's very super technical. If I will just jump in, I'll just skip some slides to see what's gonna see later on. And I hope this is will be a bit soft. So on that design, which is here, we're gonna literally go through every single component. So it's a super advanced level. So that's why I was asking the question, In case of the people here on the room are not really focused on understanding every single component, we're gonna skip that slide and we're gonna be more focused on the consumption of the service, how you can consume the service, what would be the dependency, what would be the workflow, how you can consume one service here, skip other services. So I'll be try to get your thoughts, which direction I should follow, just to support your interest and to make the session more productive as well. What do you think, guys? Shall we go with this advanced level or we have a bit higher level understanding the application from the overview? Your thoughts, and then we're gonna go into the action. I have both slides, I have both actions. تفضل. Advanced. أنا عارف. Other side, basic. Just raise your hand. Basic. Okay. Advanced. It's almost the same, guys. Which one to select? Okay, I'll try to go between both of them. Why I'm asking this? Literally, I presented this like 6 months ago. The audience, after 10 minutes, they were literally overwhelmed, and none of the people were interacting with me. Okay, so I understand that. I'm trying to give you the context. That's one aspect. On the other side, sometimes I'm going with very high level. People are very interested, but out of the session itself, they just got like the name of the technology, which is again not really what I'm looking for. I need you to be more interacting with me, getting insights on what's going to happen. Okay, I'll back a bit and then we'll start. Yeah. So as highlighted today, AI has become everywhere in our life. That's literally happening. And I will start with this slide. So back days, I got one requirement for one of my customers to build AI application that will do a kind of audio processing and audio analysis. It's a kind of basic call center. They do have a voice recording system. The record is getting to the system. They need to do this processing, which is will explore function by function. The business goal was to give a summary for the agent, and the agent will consume this summary to interact with the customer, analyze the behavior of the agent, maybe for the audit as well after the call itself, sentiment analysis to understand if it was positive, negative, customer was satisfied, unsatisfied, those kind of things. So as a requirement, we're gonna see a call recording system. It's been injecting to, I will try to name the component on Azure. Maybe if you are not aware, it's nice to know the component name itself. If you're already aware, it will be nice also to interact with. So call recording, it's been injected to a blob on Azure. We do have in between Azure function. It's a service list that will allow you to run a certain code. So at that function, you would be able to process the audio to be trained or to be transacted to a transcript, and then you're gonna get a custom speech model or pre-trained model or even a ready-made speech AI model to convert this audio to a text. So you will be able to consume this text for analysis. So that's the first stage. And then you're gonna put this in a queue. For sure, for the system to function properly, you will not dump all the action in one shot. So you are putting them on a queue one by one. That's what will happen behind the scenes. So you have the queue is pushing the calls to the system, and then from the blob you are consuming something called language service. It's one of the out-of-the-box AI service that is available in Microsoft that will give you context analysis, sentiment analysis, transcript, and even give you translation as well, conversions. So this is where you're gonna get the transcript injected to the blob, and then you can consume any business application or Power App, Power BI to analyze the application. So end to end, the solution is function. It's a basic solution. It does have key components. It's function as expected, but it does have zero security consideration. It does have zero security compliance or integration or dependency. So that's where I thought, okay, I need to give a context about AI security and compliance. So just before I jump into the security aspect, any question on that design aspect? Clear enough? Done. And that's where I start thinking, okay, we need to ensure the Compliance, basic. Call recording, it shouldn't go out of my, let's say, data center. Call recording, it shouldn't be accessible by unrelated users. Let's say, auditor is fine to access this, but the guys are working on, let's say, on the agent itself, and he gonna listen to other team member calls and speed that. So this is for sure. We need to consider the compliance in the picture, and then we need to consider the security management. What is the level of security? System administrator, he's okay to access this, or he just okay to manage the infrastructure and he shouldn't access the environment itself. We had this recently. So one of my team member was doing a migration for our customer, and it was very clear secure gap. He's a global admin, so he has access to the user entity information, but on behind that, the user does have access to a medical report for a certain environment. So because you do have a global admin, you were able to impersonate the second account, and then you will be able to access the medical report for other teammates. So that was very clear security gap where we need to consider the security, access control, RBAC, and X and Y and Z. So this is the second aspect. And then scalability. Today I'm receiving 2 calls. Okay, the application will function. But second day I'm receiving 1 million call. The application will not function. It will interrupt. So we need to consider the scalability. We need to understand how the queuing will function, how the storage will be able to retrieve this information. And then we go for the cost. Okay, it's a scalable doesn't mean that from day one I will make it 100 GPU or 1000 CPU and 200,000 RAM, whatever it is. So you need to consider again the consideration of the security, and then seamless integration, API with your calling system, API with the financial aspect, API with the auditing reporting. That integration is happening. And then you're gonna look into the point of services on the ground if you need any endpoint or something like that. So this is something that you need to consider while you are designing your application. Back to the landing zone, as we highlighted. So at the previous slide, that was the application. It functioned. Literally, most of the enterprises are getting the application here, and then all this are the add-on for compliance and security. So yes, you are estimating the cost of the application by $100 and security and compliance by $100,000. It depends on their needs. It depends on who you deal with. I just was in an RFP call 2 minutes ago, and they were asking me, okay, we are gonna migrate only 100 machine. Why we need to consider the cost of the manpower for double X? Because this is enterprise. And for enterprise, just to get a cap approval, I need 2 months to get one approval. So there is a consideration just for the paperwork. Same consideration for the compliance and security requirement. So it's exactly the same. Now let's understand this in depth. So when it comes to the beginning, by the way, any of you have played with the landing zone framework before? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Good. I started this back days in Qatar in 2018, and it was literally like only 2 aspects of this when we started. It was the first time that Microsoft introduced the concept of landing zone. It was called hub and spoke, and we had only one hub, 2 spokes, and that's application. That's it. They start adding add-on, add-on, add-on to make it more compliant, more secure, but they give the flexibility to select whatever you need based on your application. So now let's deep dive. Okay, starting with with the enterprise scale, the first element that you need to understand, who gonna access what, which is the identity and access management. So I do have the admin. Those are the people that will manage. They would require a privileged access. They would require different access based on their needs. And then I do have end user, which is again, the end user would have a certain access requirement. Both of them I will require to apply security layer, which is coming in the picture, multi-factor authentication, approvals, in the application and the biz apps. I know that Power Automate, lots of approval requirement, lots of process requirement, which is very valid. I shouldn't really directly allow a system admin to have a global admin to act on an enterprise environment without getting approval or without getting a pre-request approved by certain team members. And then access review, audit review. So you're going to sit with your customer, understand the AI requirement. Let's have I literally had a yesterday call with one of my customer. It was about document processing. So they receive, uh, there is a public API connected with TAM, where the form is being pre-filled by end user or customer facing. And then TAM does have certain integration with this entity. So this form is being already feeded directly to the customer environment. Once it's been feeded, the manual work starts. Someone will look into the information, another one will try to get the correlated information out of this, and then they will start passing it to the manager to validate it, and then it passes for another team member to do the audit, and then it will be passed to the final member to just submit it on the system, agree or reject. It's a certain processes based on the customer in that environment. Here, you will see that, yeah, for the AI application, for every stage, it's a different access. Someone will have, again, approval access only. So he's literally reader only. He doesn't have any access on the context of the form itself. And another one he has to modify. So this is where the identity comes in the picture. And keep in mind that every AI application now out of Microsoft, it does have the single sign-on behavior, which is meaning that you can consume the Entra ID providing you with 500,000 identity for free. So you can consume it for free up to 500,000 users without any premium or paid license. You can directly go with this. So identity is a key requirement, which is you can do your application directly integrated with Entra ID. And then you're going to go for the second level. This is the grounding of your application. For my application to work, I need a landing zone. Please make sure to remember this keyword. This keyword, it will help you to do interviews. It's a very valid point. Like most of the customer will ask you the first question, do you know anything about the hub and spoke? Do you know anything about landing zone? It's a very important keyword. They will understand that you understand the security and compliance. They understand that the communication flow. So once you have the landing zone, you have your platform application. This is where you're going to manage your identity. And then you do have your corporate application. And then you do have your sandbox and development application. This is where the segregation is happening. Okay. And now in the advanced layer. It's literally when I see myself, it's overwhelming for me. But I'll try to just pick just a few components. We'll not really deep dive into every single component. Domain controller. Who have been dealt with domain controller before? Domain controller. Okay. I think I need to move to the business level more because this is literally deep dive more. Okay. So when it comes to the identities that we highlighted at the beginning, for enterprise level, usually they don't like to manage the identity by public vendor like Microsoft. They're gonna manage it by themselves. That's where the domain controller come in the picture. Your identity is managed by yourself, and then it's being synchronized to the Entra ID, so the user will be able to consume it. To be honest, I can see that the people are not really into that area, so I'll try to move a bit quick from one to another. So identity is one aspect, backup is another aspect, cost is another aspect, policy is another aspect, and then you connect those puzzles together to get your application function. And then the application will come here in that area. So for your application, you remember we discussed that the application that it does have Azure storage account and one queue and Power BI integration externally. It's literally this icon. So out of the whole picture, your application is just raising here. This is the storage account that is having your application requirement, and then you do have your backup configuration. So whenever I'm building application for my infrastructure, because I'm not doing the application layer, I'm doing the infrastructure. I'm considering all those aspects, and I'm keeping this icon for the application owner. Some entity, the application owner is taking this stage. But what happened? He will create the application. The application is accessible by internet. Anyone can directly access the application without restriction. The database, and I've been in this situation lots of time. As a freelancer, I'm jumping in a customer environment. Man, I'll just do a security assessment, compliance assessment. The first key selling point for me, I found that the database is accessible from internet and the application is communicating with the database over public IP. That's that's a basic, like I would say, that's literally happening in every single entity, that it's managed by the application owner, not managed by someone understanding the security practice. So this is where they're gonna manage that part. I'll try to move a bit faster to look into the AI part, because again, I need to really give you the AI component that are required. So this is the actual AI where the open AI will come into picture. So here, again, it's the same landing zone, but we downsize the landing zone. We make it more close to the customer components only. We do have, again, on-premises. This is the customer office. In order for the customer office to communicate with the OpenAI, for sure, not over internet, privately, we will require this communication flow. So in order for this to happen, first point, do you know VPN, virtual private network? Perfect. So the first component is required for you to communicate with OpenAI over private networking, because OpenAI is in the cloud. Your on-premises is in your office. So in order for this to happen, you need the VPN gateway. And then for the VPN gateway to be configured and the system admin to manage, we need those few components. Azure Passion will allow the end user or the admin to access the workload and to configure the things over the internet. That's the Azure Bastion. And then the firewall to inspect the traffic that is going on between all your application. And then you're gonna jump into the application layer. Okay, I do have my OpenAI, which is the API endpoint at the end. It's nothing other than that. It's just the API endpoint. Okay, for this API endpoint to be accessible from my application, to be accessible for the end user, I will publish it over a web interface endpoint that will be visual available to the end user. OpenAI itself, it's not a visual application. It's just the API. So you do have the API. You will connect the API through something called the private endpoint for your application. The end user will see this interface, which is the chat engine itself, to work with the application. Okay, I do remember one of my customer requested, okay, I need one OpenAI, because here there is a new, I would say, selling point from Microsoft. They are calling it reserved OpenAI capacity. So instead of you are paying the time that you are consuming the service, you are reserving the OpenAI instance itself for yourself, and then you are consuming it without paying additional cost. That's where the instance comes in the picture. So let's assume that the customer does have this instance, but he needs to consume it for multiple applications. It will provide one API, but you need it to be multiple accessible by endpoints. That's where the API management interface comes into picture. So I will take the API from the OpenAI, I will feed it to the API management, and then I will cut it down into small APIs that I can consume. So again, end user is going from here, VPN, jumping into the interface. The interface is getting me to the API management. API is feeding the data to the OpenAI application. This journey, it's 100% secure from the networking perspective. So network and transit, or the data and transit, security layer, I'm secure. Now let's go for the next stage. I chatted with the engine. I hosted the data. This data, which is image or whatever it is, document, to the OpenAI. Now the data moved from the OpenAI to the storage account, which is now your data is stored in a storage account. You need to make sure, again, it's secure. So back to the point. Storage account communication between OpenAI and storage account over something called the private endpoint. Again, it's perfect, privately secure. But now it still was in transit. What about keeping my data secure at rest? The difference between data at rest and data in transit, that the data at rest, the data is stored in one location, but it's still, I'm not sure if it's secure or not. Data in transit, the data is communicating with different endpoint. I need to make sure that also it's secure. So that's the difference. So until here, data in transit is secure. Once it's in the storage account, it's not secure. I need to secure it. I will add the flavor of Key Vault. Key vault will create a key encryption key for the storage and will encrypt whatever in the storage to be encrypted. And that's where the layer of the data at rest as well will be secured. Okay, back to our application. So we highlighted in the application that we do have a voice processing, we do have a transcript, we do have, let's say, a chat engine to analyze the information. So until this, we are okay. But we need the language services or we need the indexing service. That's where additional service come from Microsoft. It's called AI search. So AI search will help you with the indexing part. So you have a chunk of the document, you have a chunk of the transcript. You need to segregate that chunk to be small so the engine will be able to retrieve this information quickly. That's where you convert a text to vector. So this is the component of AI search. Again, it's a private communication. So it's still happening through the private endpoint, and your communication is getting back to the on-premises over this network. Until here, we are speaking about one application, one function over a private network. There is lots of services available from Microsoft that will allow you to do additional security layer. Policy. I remember one day when I started the Azure landing zone back in Qatar, the first question that they asked, I need the resources to be only deployed. At that time, there was no Qatar region. It was only West Europe. So I need my workload to be only deployed within West Europe because I have agreement with that region that our data will be only residence here. Okay, in order to make sure that will be there and the engineer will not just deploy the environment anywhere, I do have the policy. The policy is a definition where in order to do this function, you are only allowed to do it in this location. And that's where the policy comes in the picture. And I'm the fan of having the policy before the execution. So you put the policy, people will execute. Whenever they do something wrong, the policy will restrict them. So this is how you should apply the compliance and policy. We do have lots of other components. I don't need, again, to deep dive into the points, but out of this design, I need you to remember few keywords that you will consume them later on. So today morning, our colleague highlighted you can use Azure AI Foundry. Okay? AI Foundry behind the scenes will allow you to consume OpenAI, AI search, and the AI language, the three components that we highlighted for AI. So they are just the components that will allow you to have this ecosystem. Please, whenever you are executing for customer environment, don't go directly and get the API of OpenAI, deliver the service, your AI application is function. The second day, if you signed any contract with them, you will be the blamed person about the security and compliance. So I'll just stop here and I'll keep it open to just ask about, again, the same definitions are there. If you need to ask any question related to this component, any something related to communication flow, I'll just keep it for you. Any questions? Fine. Again, getting sleeping people. I know from the beginning. Yeah, so to be frank, when it comes to audience targets, I usually target people that are coming from the system level because they understand my context. However, I'm trying today to convert this message to the business level because literally I can see on my customer base that people are just directly consuming the service without considering the security part, and that's where I'm coming from. So again, we highlighted those components, and thank you. Have a good day. We are good in time? Good in time. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Just before I leave again, I'll just give you a quick heads up about Expert Live.
Yes,
And
yes.
then we'll take it from there. I didn't really plan it. So that's just the website. Feel free to have a look into that. And I think we can get a QR from here, right?
I'm handy with the MacBooks.
That's fine. So guys, that's Expert Live. As we just highlighted, it's happening in Dubai. We will have most of the team members on the stage, and also we have few community team members that are coming from outside the UAE. And then most of the faces here you're gonna recognize once you see the speakers on the ground, and that's our key sponsors. So feel free to explore the website itself, expertslife.ae. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mahmoud. Mahmoud, 1 second, just excuse me. Thank you, Mahmoud. Thank you so much for the session. And Mahmoud is the first speaker who has submitted his sessions. And I really thanks so much for his time today. I know he's pretty busy with his work, but still he take us some time for the community. I know what the weekends I can definitely count in, but on a weekday it was difficult for anyone to manage. Thank you so much, Mahmoud. Thanks for the amazing session. And we are all excited for the experts live as well. See you all there. Hopefully, all the community. A small token of thanks from the community side. Picture. Yes.
Join us, Mike. Join us. Thank you so much.
And due to a time constraint, we are swapping one session now. Instead of Samir, now Ablik will be taking his topic. Thank you so much, Ablik, traveling all the way from India for this event. Ablik has come for the last event as well. And I'm pretty privileged. He was the first confirmed person from outside the country to travel for the speaking event. And Ablik is, if you see his LinkedIn, more than any other startup mentorship, he has amazing communities built around startup, and he helps startup communities to build around Microsoft ecosystem as well. So you can check his LinkedIn, and he will also be doing small startup-based showing today in the evening as well. But this session will be focused on LLMs and natural language processing, unlocking the future of AI communication. What do you have, Blake?
Thank you so much for having me. I mean, it's a pleasure to come again to Dubai. I mean, Dubai is my favorite, if you see, though I like Singapore more as well. So yeah, thanks everyone for having me. Just give me a few couple of seconds before I set up. Yeah, I can connect with the internet, I think. Yeah, let me check. What's the password? I think customer 95.
Yeah.
Done. Yeah. Set.
एक्सटेंडेड पे है बाद में
Acha.
डुप्लीकेट कर देना
Give me a second. Huh? This is my PPT. Okay. Abhi, you want me to do duplicate? Okay. Hmm. Yeah, visible? Okay. Yeah, you okay. Okay. ठीक.
Just a minute. So Lorette is leaving. So can we have a group picture with her once? So I request all the attendees to come onto the stage, please. Squeeze. Maybe 2 rows tall in the back, short in the front.
We can bring some chairs.
Yes. Feel free to take chairs if someone wants to have that.
نمت قدام انتوا صيصه لا
Keep them back.
لا ما تهزرش لا انا قصدي على
All the women on the chairs. All the women on the chairs.
لسه جاي امبارح.
سوري
All the women on the chairs. You can still-
لا اله I'm chatting with them. I'm not listening.
Well, we need someone here.
No, they are here. They are
Here, please.
Please.
Come here.
There's some seats available there as well.
شيل ده بقى خلاص يا عم متشكرين.
Some more this side. 2-3 people to this side. Sorry.
Oh, one moment.
Yeah, please. No, still.
We'll crop it.
Okay, smile, guys. Everyone is serious. Amit, thoda andar. Smile.
How about you? Selfie.
Yeah, I'll come.
Let's switch.
So only the speakers to stay back?
Yeah.
Only speakers. One boss.
How are you, man? Over LinkedIn only.
Yeah. No, good. I really like it.
Thank you. It was a sleeping mood for that. I know. Yeah.
You were there directions? Yeah. Cool. I saw you there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lorette. Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you
that.
very much.
Right, so everyone back. I know I am in between you and your lunch. I think how much time I have? 45 minutes. 30 minutes. Right, rapidly. I think again we need to connect.
अब तो आना चाहिए आगे स्टार्ट कर लो स्लाइड शो
If we check the volume, excellent. Too big. Burst of
वीडियो है क्या कुछ yeah audio block
Right. So everyone, please, settle down. I hope, yeah, everyone in the back as well. Please settle. So before I start introduction about me, I'll just be clear about what we are going to, talk today about. I'm going to make it more non-technical, but a little bit of tech stuff what I've implemented. I mean, as a startup as well. It's been around 1 year and 7 months as a startup, so it's a different feeling because you're not into a job right now, and you are probably, doing things on your own. You have to, engineer a lot of things, innovative things. You have to sit and talk with a lot of people. I'm also a mentor at Microsoft for Founders Hub. So if there are any startups or you have plans, you want to launch your startup, happy to help you with Azure credits. So there are referral codes which we can provide. As long as you want to build something interesting, which is on AI, that is what Microsoft wants. So if you have anything you want to build or use any of the ecosystem, please reach out to me. Now, coming back to the topic, the reason I selected this topic is because it's close to me. I have developed some solutions for tech giants like Netflix and Amazon Prime. I'm sure a lot of you are addictive to social media right now. How many of you use Netflix? Okay. Amazon Prime? Hulu? No, nobody uses Hulu. Okay. So there are a lot of apps basically which probably, take a lot of our time. But again, there are good and bad things about it. Like, of course, there are good activities we can learn from them. But again, it's very addictive. So that's also another side of the coin. Just like how AI, is so powerful. But at the end of the day, you have to be careful of not giving your personal data and stuff like that, right? So now talking about me, I mean, I'll just skip that. Okay. So this is the slide I showed last time as well. I mean, I'm talking about the localization stuff, right? You have the gold soak market, as you can see on my left, right? Which is very popular in Dubai and different part of the world, how the traditions keeps about. And then there was Doli Chaiwala, if from India. And that's how he started, getting an, in fact, he's selling franchisee now. Can you imagine? Right? He started selling his franchisee. It's pretty costly, but a lot of my Indian friends are interested, and they have actually recently applied to Dolly Chaiwala's franchisee, which is pretty interesting because that's how the future is moving. And why I wanted to show this is because again, AI is literally changing lives. I remember going to Beijing and I used AI to generate, proper, what do you say, a paper presentation. It was selected. Same I applied. I got selected recently for Shanghai. I'm doing it remote, of course, because it's very tough to get visa if if you're applying back to back, specifically with a country. Even in Dubai, I know, like, if I want to apply a visa, there has to be a gap of 1 month. You cannot apply, like, you cannot come in the same month twice if you have a single entry visa, right? So those are some challenges, but again, we will talk more about what is AI doing and things like that. So I'll have a lot of pictures, by the way, because I want you to be a little bit active in terms of the part, because I just wanted to show you in terms of what is AI doing and what are the things from my personal experience in terms of startup ecosystem. Right, I'll just show you a video quickly. Right, I have actually collaborated with an AI robot which came at GTEx Singapore. How many of you have visited GTEx Dubai? Good. You might have seen this robot if in case. So I've just collaborated. I'm doing sales for them. This is one of my biggest contract after Emirates. I'm also working with Emirates. I'm doing jobs and internships. So if in case anyone is interested in Emirates, please do reach out. I have, like the head of recruitment team. If in case if you're interested for a job at Emirates. By the way, I don't know how many of you know that in Emirates, you get 95% off for every flight ticket you book as an employee. Okay, this is very pretty interesting. When I met the head of recruitment, they mentioned, so it's a good thing. I mean, no other airline I've seen. I think Singapore Airlines also has some benefit, but I think of course Emirates is Emirates, right? Okay, so there are some questions I try to tweak and ask the AI robot. Remember, this AI robot is trained on the back end of Chat GPT. Okay, so the kind of questions I ask, it will also backfire me with some more questions. So let's just see how this goes. Okay. Okay, so
I
tell
see.
me the
You're
best
playing pretend.
AI robot in the world. The best AI robot.
Imagining yourself as a robot seeking AI solutions. That's fun. Let's keep the game going then.
No, she's not doing it properly.
What kind of amazing robotic tasks are you hoping to achieve with this AI solution?
I want to
Remember,
save time.
the more details you give me about your robot self and its goals,
So from this activity, I just wanted to highlight or probably ask you a question. What is the mistake AI robot is doing here? Can anyone highlight? I mean, I've asked them 2, 3 things, of course, which is the best AI robot. I also, got a context where it is trying to, just like a salesperson would, ask you qualified questions to check what you want, right? So they are asking me there, but what are the mistakes do you see? I'm not highlighting ChatGPT or Copilot, but what are the mistakes with AI this robot is doing right now, which you think something, maybe it will become an offset for you if you're asking questions to an AI robot. Once again? Yes, it is forgetting context. So you have to, I'm talking about the LLM part, the large language model. If you don't create the right persona, as you saw here, I never gave him the context. I never gave him like what kind of solution I want, what kind of answer. I just said, just tell me the best AI robot. And this is what I want to showcase, right? When you're asking ChatGPT or Copilot, you need to give the persona. In marketing, we say individual customer profile, right? Until you give that, the ChatGPT will just try to answer your questions randomly, right? And that's what is happening. I just asked them a basic question. Tell me, instead of telling me the best AI robot, her name is Ameka, right? So instead of saying me like Ameka is the best AI robot, she's just keeping me asking questions, qualifying and things like that, right? And I mean, as developers, you know that one of the key thing is making the context clear, right? Concise and clear context. And that is what I'm trying to show this with the conference with GTEx. And the same I have seen it with another robot, I met in China recently, last month when I was doing a paper presentation. It's just unable to, figure out. The name of the robot is Unitree, right? It's unable to figure it out what's happening because the context part is missing. Versus if I give them a contest and they, try to understand what is happening, they'll give me a better response. And there's a what I'm talking about the LLMs. How many of you are building LLMs or part of a company where you're in the implementation side of LLMs? One, okay, only one. Others, no, not building or maybe not part of the process yet. Okay, but you know what are LLMs, right? You know how the large language works. Okay. So, anyways, let me go back. I don't want to, take much time. Okay. Now I wanted to highlight a solution, okay, very specifically, like which is on the ground level. One of the key things. So he's my friend, Chandresh, who is probably one of the entrepreneurs I met on a 15-day train journey. We had 525 entrepreneurs on one train journey. This is the largest train yatra in India, which covers 1500 kilometers. And believe me, like one of the key challenge we wanted to solve was with business cards. I mean, we go to conferences, what happens? You exchange a business card and then you throw it into the dustbin. If not dustbin, at least it just, goes away with that. So right now, NFC is what I have observed is working. I think Dubai government is way ahead if I compare with the Indian government. I've got one with the Telangana government because I'm a mentor with VHub. And I have recently received his solution, which is QLM. And this is what I'm talking about the future where you can literally, scan a card and then, probably no need to carry a physical card. And that is what with the solutions you're making. And this is something he's implementing this year because last year they had 46,000 applications to select 525 entrepreneurs. I was one of the facilitator there. This year they had 48,000 applications and they are hoping to have 550 people. And this card is going to be implemented in a live train where even if there is no network without internet, they can exchange their business. Isn't it amazing, right? And this is what I want to bring it in Abu Dhabi, and we're working with the government there as well. We want to implement on NFCs, something similar like that. The largest trend in the world right now is from Singapore. It travels and it goes to the other side of the Europe. I mean, you can figure it out. You can check how big is that trend, but it's just amazing and fascinating journey because imagine you get that mindset of talking to different entrepreneurs, what they are building and collaborating. So this train journey is called Jagriti Yatra if you want to search on internet. And it is being started 15 to 16 years before. And the owner who started is a member of parliament working with Nirmala Sitharaman, who is our finance minister in India for startups. And he has set up a similar solution like ISRO, which is, you have your proper sales shuttle in Uttar Pradesh, which is something very proud because you are trying to create something in your own village because his father was also a politician and they also wanted to do something like this. So I just wanted to highlight this, and I'm sure you have used NFC cards, right? I'm assuming. Yeah, anyone who's not know what don't know what is NFC, you can be honest. Okay, so can anyone tell what is NFC? Just wanted to check if you know. that card, like the mobile phone, you can. Okay. Near field communication is. Yes, near field communication. I mean, I do have a card. I'll quickly show you because I just believe like things has to be similar. So this is just a card, as you can see, like. So basically, you just have to scan this. Once you scan this, probably your LinkedIn, your social media, everything is there. You just save the contact. So no need to have a physical card. This is more like you can have different versions, metallic or things like that, and that's what I'm doing with him in terms of different governments as I'm traveling. But this is something you should have. If you're a mentor at, let's say, a government institute, or let's just say working with mentor, it's complimentary being provided. I'm not sure if Dubai government is providing this with the AI. I have no idea about that, but Abu Dhabi government does provide, right? So I am aware about that. I have like my ex, what do you say, reporting boss, and he works with the Abu Dhabi global market. So that's where I think I've seen them providing this kind of solution, right? If you have actually visited ADGM, right, in Abu Dhabi. Okay, this is a very interesting thing. This is a competition, by the way. If in case you have not registered, if in case you have a startup fantastic idea, I'm a mentor at Startup World Cup. So Startup World Cup is the largest $1 million competition happening in US in October. And I think every regional wise, you get one or two people who get selected. And the trip is sponsored by Pegasus, which is the largest VC firm. So if you have an interesting startup idea and if you feel you have a good team, please do apply. This is a letter for my invitation. I'll be going in October in San Francisco for mentorship and stuff. But then if you feel you have an idea, please let me know and I'll send you the application link, right? So this is very specific with startups. Again, not necessarily only AI, but you can also talk about any business app as well if you're trying to build anything on that, right? By the way, I forgot to ask, how many of you are already part of startup ecosystem or having a startup idea? Okay, one. Only one? Others, no plan. Okay, two. Good. Plan is. Three. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like idea has to be ideated, right? I mean, I forgot to tell you about my startup, right? So I received 3,786 resumes in 1 year for students asking for referrals. In fact, as I'm talking, my LinkedIn is getting full with more number of students asking for their first job. As a fresher, it's a challenge, right, to get the first job. So what I did is, probably get some kind of a company which uses AI to match recruiters with, let's just say, students or corporate professionals looking for jobs. It's a very simple solution. My startup got funded with the Korean government, then Singapore government, recently in talks with the Japanese government as well, where I've joined as an expert committee. But it's really fun because you can really, help somebody crack their first job. That's the target segment I'm currently targeting. But hopefully we'll go next where we'll try to also look for the leadership roles. Considering seeing the Microsoft layoffs, I've really tried to help a lot of my colleagues to land up some jobs with product companies. But again, it's still challenging to see someone, spending 25 years of their life and then not getting a job much faster, right? So I'm trying to also cater to someone on the side of fresher and then someone on the leadership side as well, because that's also one of the challenging area I've seen right now. Okay, this is one of my talk at the Tokyo Global AI Community. Right, it was fun talking there, and the reason why I'm showing you this is because believe me, nobody knows English there. Okay, so it was very tough. Nobody is speaking English, but they have made a translation app which uses AI. So as you can see on the screen, right, if you can see this lady, right, she has a mobile phone, and it is getting a live translated. She can see it. So basically it gets translated to Japanese, and if she's Chinese, also can get to Chinese. So I was speaking in English with a lag time of 3 to 5 seconds, and they are able to answer my questions much faster, right? So a set of 130 people, but they are able to quickly answer whatever questions I'm asking. And this is what the future is looking like, where I think Microsoft in Europe and US, I have seen they have this translation services. They can use it, so I was talking to Henk, I think long back when I was in March with the, MVP summit. So he did mention this is one of the challenge. I think the same is with, let's say if I want to deliver a lecture in Korea, unfortunately, it's very tough to get that translation service. So Microsoft has to give us those kind of equipment and stuff, right? Even headphones are available where you can have that translation services, right? I don't know how about Dubai right now. Have you seen any translation services company right now helping in terms of Arabic translations to English? Yeah.
There's this company called Tarjama.
Tarjaman?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a translation company, and now they have Arabic.ai.
Arabic.ai. Perfect.
It's their own large language model
Mhm.
tuned by Arabic writing way.
Interesting. Yeah. So that is what I also feel like, because think about it, I want to invite someone let's just say, who is probably in Dubai, and I want to bring them to India, and they can be comfortable talking in Arabic, we can understand in Hindi, right? So we want that kind of a solution, which is about translation, right? So I'll definitely reach out to those vendors and see how we can. I run, by the way, the global AI community in Hyderabad.
And may I invite Mahmoud to give the goodies to the Ablik, please? Thank you, Ablik, for coming all the way from India.
Man, I made them sleeping and now they are waking up again. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now we'll take a prayer break and we'll resume back at 2. We're waiting for the lunch. Give us some more time, please. Thank you.